The manga begins with the main character making eye contact with a rather strange looking guy in an alleyway. He attacks the nearest couple, killing them both instantly. Instead of attacking her, he just runs past her like she does not even exist. For some unknown reason, no one really tries to run away. Instead they form a crowd around him and just to watch. Anyway, the police somehow manage to arrest him completely unarmed. This guy has killed like 10 people and they don't even bother using any equipment. I mean, I think the story will turn out a bit differently if this was taking place in the USA, but whatever. After their encounter, she starts seeing him in random places. Her parents think it's PTSD and signs her up for a therapy group with other survivors from the attack. When she goes to the first meeting, one of the kids is dressed as the killer. I mean, why do they even tolerate this shit? I mean, yeah, we obviously know you almost died and have PTSD from the incident, but we're going to let some random kid dress up as the killer in the meeting. In the next chapter, we learn that the killer is able to teleport somehow, after the police have consulted with an offer of anything. He calls her to inform her it's not PTSD, but that is a bit too late because the killer is now standing in her room. Somehow, she managed to fend off a grown man with a baseball bat with a pair of scissors. If he really wants to kill her so bad, why not just wait for her to fall asleep at night instead? Well, anyway, next day at their meeting, he decides to show up again. This time planning ahead a bit, using another clone of himself to block the exit. Not can he only teleport, but also clone himself now. For some reason, he only kills the doctor. Seems like he only kills adults so far, so there's some sort of pattern to manage his killings. After the attack, she goes to meet up with the weird kid, still wearing the same overall as before. During their meeting, the killer starts emailing her pictures of victims he killed. How does he even have her address? I mean, this makes even less sense than the teleporting and the cloning stuff. Apparently, he forgot to disable Google location sharing, because the emails included a sent from address. She's more than fed up with this, so she decides to take matter into her own hands and go to said location. Meanwhile, she's stalked by a creepy journalist. They both end up at the empty factory. Instead of calling the police, they enter the building. Very smart and brave move, I gotta say. Once again, he misses another attack from behind. In turn, she stabs him in the foot. He drops his weapon for whatever reason, leaving himself completely open. Instead of taking her revenge, the sole reason that she came here for, we learn that the reason for his crimes is that his loneliness was unbearable and he did not know who he was. So he burned his face off and removed all of his teeth and declared war on humanity. And now he wants her to kill him. Yeah, that is the reason, I'm not making this up. Meanwhile, the journalist is going around the building blogging the place, until he finds a skeleton with a picture of a young couple, I suppose. And this is the breaking point, so he finally calls the police. It would have been so much more interesting if the woman's death had anything to do with him turning out this way. Back at home after this shit show, her parents come up with the great idea of going on a holiday trip when their kid is being stalked by a serial killer. And this is the silliest thing in the manga, has to be that her parents are sleeping in separate beds. So yeah, that weird and creepy kid from before kills almost everyone in the hotel during the time she takes a bath, including her parents. Turns out she's a 28-year-old woman who believes M, the killer, is a god. So she recruits a bunch of fanatics through her website to witness a new world being built in this hotel. Oh, and she also possesses the same teleporting and cloning ability that he does. Instead, Madoka, yes, the main character has a name, I know, becomes really angry at the group because they don't understand M's loneliness, not the fact that they literally killed her parents. She somehow summoned him, and this has to be the funniest line in the manga. He's holding nothing back. His loneliness is unimaginable. I mean, bro, what the fuck. Everything happens so inexplicable, so it's really hard to make sense what's going on at times. Apparently Madoka sent a letter to the therapy group explaining his ability before going on her holiday trip. One of them used to be a gang member, so he called in some extra support before going to the hotel. This has to be the weirdest part by far. The weird kid is about to be killed, so she teleports out. M also teleports after her, and somehow both of them gets run over by the biker gang. Both of them must be on deaf to not hear like 40 motorcycles on the highway. Anyway, instead of killing him, they start taking pictures of him for Instagram. Yes, Instagram. When they finally decide to execute him, he teleports out just in time, of course. The ending makes even less sense than you thought. For whatever reason, Madoka has dragged the real body out in the forest. He wakes up and kicks the weird kid in the face, knocking her out completely. The biker gang has also caught up with them and completely surrounded them. So, in counter, Emma makes 50 copies of himself and fights them to the death. Madoka gets really angry at the violence and accidentally teleports herself to the hospital, and the cop from before gives her his gun and she shoots the real M sleeping in his bed. Yes, that is the true ending. I mean, not really the true ending. Volume 4 was supposed to come out in around 2020, but has been delayed multiple times, so this is like the true ending temporarily, if we even get the real one. In the end, it's a pretty entertaining story, but many of the plot points will probably never get an explanation, such as the teleporting and the cloning ability. They talked about frogs and tadpole genes, but to me it did not make much sense at all, since frog DNA and tadpole DNA does not equal human DNA for whatever reason. I mean,